Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's a beautiful 29th of June, 2024. Coming to this episode of the Crusty podcast, episode 297, Liberal Autophagy. Have I said that right? Anyway, is the end near? Yes. It looks like the Liberal Party is beginning to eat itself out from the inside out. No pun intended, ladies and gentlemen. None whatsoever. Anyhow, all that and more come on the podcast. Please stick around. Listener and viewer discretion is advised because I will swear, smoke cigarettes, and maybe sip a coffee and make a funny face or two. See you in a bit. Cheers.
Hit it, sweetheart. Because I am hard, you will not like me. Yes, sir. There is no racial bigotry here. Here you are all equally worthy.
From Western Canada, this is the Crusty Canuck podcast, a Canadian veteran's point of view on political, social, economic issues and life. Here's Crusty.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the podcast, episode 297. This is
Liberal Autophagy.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Liberal autophagy. Yes. You know, when human cells begin to eat themselves. Yes, I'm your host, Crusty Canuck. Welcome, everybody. Nice to see you. Hope you've had a nice couple of days. It's the weekend, Canada Day weekend. Give yourselves a round of applause. Celebrate this country and let the drama unfold. And this podcast is also brought to you in part by and supported by Veterans for Freedom Network. Stand to. That's right, Veterans for Freedom. And coming soon, Veterans for Freedom TV. Like-minded individuals such as myself, other veterans, and other Canadians alike will come together and have our own little network, hopefully sometime soon. So pay attention for updates on that. I'm your host, Crusty, everybody. Hope you've had a good past couple of days. Weekends on the go here. I know I've been working my ass off and a lot of extra work to do this week, but I'm not complaining. I'm grateful for the job, and I'm really grateful for the fact that I was able to buy some extra groceries today, too. So that's always a good thing. Yeah. But needless to say, as the title card says, we have got some real drama unfolding in Canadian politics as we speak. Let's see. There's been a couple of MPs who have spoken out against Prime Minister Trudeau, some Liberal backbenchers, some former Liberal MPs that were practically handpicked by the Prime Minister themselves, but they're not really happy with this effort. Now, I think this has a lot to do with the by-election that happened in Toronto last week in regards to a predominantly Liberal riding overtaken by a Conservative MP. Interesting. You know what's funny, though? Since this whole catastrophe, according to the Liberal Party, has happened, we're not hearing too many responses or too many stories about the Conservative that won the riding. The mainstream media is all over the whole thing because the Liberals lost the riding. Oh, what's next for Justin Trudeau? Well, like the title card says, Liberal autophagy. They're starting to eat themselves out. No pun, but they're eating from within. You get former cabinet ministers, you get present cabinet ministers that want Justin Trudeau to step down. What's that tell you? Okay. I think a lot of us predicted this before, a couple of years back too. All this infighting, all this movement, all this racial profiling, all the gaslighting that they've all done, ladies and gentlemen, is coming back to bite them on the ass. And that is hilarious. That is hilarious. Because what I understand of leadership is this. You set the example. When I was an NCO in the military, okay, we've all had to take training courses. We all had to qualify. We all had to, use the magic word, merit, actually earn a spot to the next level. We were never just handed our ranks. We were never handed our positions. We were never handed anything in regards to the next level. We had to earn it. You get little ticks in the box every year, making sure you've done this and done that, professionalism, decorum, teamwork, all that good stuff. And we've all had to merit our own separate ways to get to the next level. Okay. Now, when you look at these politicians in both of our countries, my American friends who are listening to, especially in Virginia, I've been looking at my stats there today. I'm getting a lot of downloads from Virginia. So thank you guys. Thank you, Virginians, for downloading my work. But I'm sure every time you pick a leader, doesn't matter if he's municipal, big words, municipal, provincial or state or federal, okay, you want the person that's going to represent your values and your needs and desires when it comes to thriving in a democracy. Okay. But the examples that have been bestowed on us, I would have to say for the better part of 10 years now, have been nothing but shit. Okay. Now you've got the big party in Canada, the governing party. Okay. They want the prime minister to step down. Okay. Now I'm going to read an article here from Wayne Long, a liberal backbencher. Really does nothing. He makes a good salary, but he wants the prime minister to step down. Even Climate Barbie, Catherine McKenna, former environment MP and then infrastructure MP. And then she just left politics ever so conveniently to get a good cash job with the UN, right? We all remember Miss Climate Barbie there. Okay? Remember her?
Where's the money, Catherine?
Remember her claim to fame? All this money just gone missing? Anyway, she's weighed in and telling the PM that he better step down too. So she's either riding the coattails of whatever glory she might have left, or she actually generally cares about the welfare of this country. So make a long story short, the PM's not getting the support that he thinks or that his desired followers thinks he deserves. That's just me though too. And in other news too, this is brought to my attention by the Three Oceans channel. Harjit Sajjan, I think we all remember him. He was the defense minister after Justin Trudeau got elected in 2015. And he was the brainchild by which of bringing old F-18s to replace our old F-18s from Australia. He was, contemplating what to do with our fighter jets and all this good stuff. And he figured, okay, let's get Australia's old F-18s to replace Canada's old F-18s. There's an upgrade for you, right? Well thought out. And he is basically, he was a reservist. I think he was a major, if I'm not mistaken. He was also a police detective for the city of Vancouver. And lately, he's under scrutiny because during the evac of Afghan in 2021, apparently he ordered our special services to help evacuate 200 plus Sikh Afghans. Now, I don't know about you. I'll read along a couple articles here shortly, ladies and gentlemen, but I think that's pretty shitty. Now, I don't know if there's actually any proof to this, but the speculation is there stating that Mr. Harjan did that, or Mr. Harjit Sajjan did that exact thing, where he gave orders to rescue certain individuals when his responsibility was to assist administratively, that is, the rescue of Canadian citizens. And then you got foreign affairs that should be involved in that too. I can't remember who the foreign affairs minister was at that time, but again, it just goes to prove how many unqualified morons we have calling the shots in this country. Now, when I look at these clowns, and you've heard me ramble on long enough about these assholes, okay? Like I said, they're going to start eating themselves within. It's like that snake that's eating its own tail. And, it's they're going to slither around till there's nothing left to eat. And then what? Would it be time for an election? Time will tell.
Stay updated and follow Crusty Canuck on Facebook, Twitter, Gab, Telegram, YouTube, and Podbean. Subscribe today and donate at crustycanuck.ca.
And you're back, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 297 of the Crusty Canuck podcast. Liberal Autophagy. Yes, autophagy. It sounds like an ice cream flavor. Autophagy. Is the end near? I'm your host, Crusty Canuck. Hope you like you hear what you see. Please click like and subscribe. All that good stuff. Do not be shy, ladies and gentlemen. Send this content all over your social media platforms. And a big thank you out there to my new subscribers on the tube. I was going over the numbers there this morning, and I got about 120 new subscribers. So thank you very much, you wonderful, awesome people. You guys are really starting to make this channel really rock and roll. But I also am going to need a few views more to probably start subscribing and sharing the word. And if you can donate too, ladies and gentlemen, like I said, my last episode, if I can get about 60 plus individuals, maybe donating $3 to $5 a month, that would help me a great deal. I'm going to work on some perks and privileges there too in due course. But if you can find the kindness in your heart to donate, that'd be really great to help me along my way to make this podcast even better and hopefully make it a full-time commitment, ladies and gentlemen. That would be fantastic, but that's up to you. I'm going to keep it free. But if you feel like donating, like I said, get 60 plus people to give me a hand. That would really help me out a big deal. Anyway, carrying this episode. So I'm going to queue up an article here from Harjit Sajjan, a former defense minister. Now he's like Mr. Public Safety Extraordinaire. He's full of shit, but listen carefully as I read this here, because of course there's always going to be some kind of frickin' racial issue about this. And I personally don't care who does the job, who gets selected for the job, just as long as they do it to the best of their ability with honesty and integrity. Now, here's an article from City News, and I have another article from the fine people at the Print. I think it's an Indian-based news organization. However, regardless of how people might feel about India, if they are meddling or not, they do have some reporters that are very, very integral to the media system. But I'll just cue this up here, ladies and gentlemen, for you, and we'll read along. Okay. Needless to say, it's an interesting read. You know, the accusation is somewhat substantial, you know, if you believe that kind of thing. But like I said, it's not totally true yet, but it was based on the Globe and Mail article. Like I say, ladies and gentlemen, I'll read this along, and you guys decide. So, military was following, quote unquote, legal orders to try to rescue Afghan Sikhs, General Wainwright says. Okay, this is by Stephanie Taylor and Sarah Ritchie from the Canadian Press, so obviously Global Mail. Canadian Armed Forces was following legal orders when it tried to rescue a group of Afghan Sikhs during the fall of Kabul 3 years ago, Chief of Defense Staff General Wainwright said. Interesting. Ayer's comment comes from former Defense Minister Harjit Sajjan, explained his decision to intervene on behalf of a group of around 200 Afghan Sikhs who were trapped along with thousands of others in August 2021. Okay, so did he just save the 200? Or did he actually help, save more? Okay. Sajjan said in a statement that he passed along information through appropriate channels that he had been given about their group's whereabouts, and that doing so was in line with government policy to help vulnerable groups on the ground in Afghanistan. Sajjan said he did not instruct the forces to prioritize this group above Canadians or Afghan interpreters who aided Canadian soldiers during previous operations. Okay, interview with the Canadian Press, Ayer said the military was following legal orders when it made an effort to specifically help the group of Afghan Sikhs. Okay, we follow legal direction in the groups that were listed or part of approved groups, so we got on with it. He added, it's not up to him to say whether the government priority was right or wrong. We had the list from Immigration, Refugee, and Citizenship Canada, and we were just getting on. When Kabul fell to the Taliban in August 2021, Canada and its allies scrambled to evacuate their citizens along with Afghan interpreters who had worked for Canada. Canada and other countries also sought to help members of groups they designated as a risk persecution from the Taliban, including women leaders, human rights defenders, journalists, and religious minorities. Sajjan said in the weeks leading up to the siege, Canada expanded that partnership with Mamit Singh, Buller Foundation, an Alberta-based charity that was trying to help resettle hundreds of persecuted Afghan Sikhs and Hindus. Okay, the foundation has identified more than 200 Afghan Sikhs, 200 Afghan Sikhs were in Afghanistan and wanted to leave. They provided their names to Immigration, Refugees, and Citizenship Canada, which was helping with the required paperwork. Okay, well, a lot of this is verbal diarrhea, ladies and gentlemen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to skip over to the next article from the fine people at the Print. Okay, and see what they have to say. Because, City TV has been quite biased. They're not the same as they used to be. I'll tell you that right now. But two different conflicting stories here, ladies and gentlemen. Two different conflicting stories, okay? It's amazing how Canada is getting into the world news, right? This is from the Print. Canadian Minister Harjit Sajjan prioritized Afghan Sikhs over citizens as Kabul fell, from the Globe and Mail. So this is a reprint, I think, of the Globe and Mail article. But this is from New Delhi. Former Defense Minister Canada Harjit Sajjan is reported to have instructed Canadian Special Forces to rescue Afghan Sikhs after the fall of Kabul and the Taliban of 2021, taking resources away from getting Canadian citizens out of Afghanistan. Citing unnamed sources from the military, Canadian newspaper The Globe and Mail reported Thursday that Sajjan relayed information on the location of around 225 Sikhs in Afghanistan for evac. The operation was conducted in the last few days of the Western nation's evacuation of personnel from the Central Asian country, days after the Taliban captured Kabul on 15th of August 2021, ending the nearly two-decade war against the militant movement. Quote unquote, the sources said Afghan Sikhs were not considered an operational priority for the Canadian military as they had no link to Canada. Mr. Sajjan's intervention, the sources say, impacted the rescue of Canadians and other Afghans on Canada's priority list, reported the Canadian Daily. Interesting. Sajjan, who is currently the Minister of Emergency Preparedness in the Justin Trudeau cabinet, climate change, denied the allegations and called it utter BS in a statement to the media this past Thursday. Quote unquote, let me address the Globe article quite directly, because I will be quite honest with you, it was utter BS. Those who were following on the evacuation missions and the events previously to that know quite well that there was an improved government policy to safely evacuate as many vulnerable Afghans as possible, he said. The minister described the policy as the one that, quote unquote, included obviously Canadians first, those who worked with us, like our interpreters, and also included vulnerable Afghans, which included religious minorities and Afghan Sikhs and Hindus. According to the newspaper, members of the Canadian military were angered by Sajjan's instructions, especially in the last 24 hours of its mission evacuating people out of Afghanistan. The Canadian mission was sent to the country after the fall of Kabul and was slated to end on 27 August 2021. Okay. The mission by the Canadian Special Forces failed to rescue the 225 Sikhs from a Gurdwara in Kabul. A few months after the failed rescue operation, the Afghan Sikhs were eventually evacuated to India. However, an estimated 120 Afghan Sikhs who were evacuated to India moved to Canada later, while another 17 left for the U.S. As reported by the article by the print earlier, Sajjan also criticized the coverage, saying he's being singled out for, okay, get this, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Here's the bread and butter of this article. Sajjan also criticized the coverage, saying he's being singled out for being a Sikh, and that if he did not wear a turban, no one would question whether my actions were appropriate, according to the Globe and Mail. Okay, well, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to leave these articles. Okay, I'm going to leave these articles in my description for you guys to read and follow. But there's always that racist angle someplace, okay? What is with this government? Now, I can understand why some backbenchers, or maybe there's some more liberal backbenchers, sitting in the back getting frustrated by this bullshit, okay? Why is it such a racial thing all the time? Okay, this man's educated. He was an officer in the Canadian Reserves, so he knows what he's talking about. He knows about diplomacy. Now, he did brag a few years back saying he was the figurehead of Op Medusa, which was found out that he was full of shit. He might have sat in some fucking meetings, but he had no fucking idea what he was doing. Okay, because I know we had to bury some of the lads that came out of that fucking battle. So I don't appreciate that bullshit, Mr. Sajjan. Harjeet. Secondly, okay, why is the cabinet even tolerating this shit? Like I said earlier about leadership, you set the example, you earn your way, right? How many of these clowns have earned their way? No wonder the Liberal is closing in on itself, because people aren't buying the crap, right? They're really sitting back thinking, oh my God, we had a dominant riding at one time. Now it's gone conservative. Gee, I guess we're screwing up. Oh, gee, I guess I don't know. I guess we'll have to weigh in and try to ride the coattails of somebody else to save this country, or to save the party, right? To save the image. It's like I always said, ladies and gentlemen, not the party, not the person, but the constituents and the country. Now ask yourself this: has the Canadian Liberal Party stood up for this country? Think about that, honestly. More to come after this.
Stay updated and follow Crusty Canuck on Facebook, Twitter, Gab, Telegram, YouTube, and Podbean. Subscribe today and donate at crustycanuck.ca.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. You're back to episode 297. Liberal Autophagy. Is the end near? I'm your host, Crusty Canuck. Thanks for sticking around all this time, too. And thank you out there, my new subscribers, especially my American audience, too. Like I said, I got some more subscribers from Virginia, Georgia, Illinois, and Ohio, and especially California. I want you Californians to answer this question if you can. How do you deal with Mr. Newsom? Am I saying it right? How do you deal with him? Anyway, let me know in the comments if you can. Anyway, carrying on this episode. So you've heard me rant and rage about the former defense minister. Now he's Mr. Emergency Preparedness. He's done really well, hasn't he? Holy shit. I don't think so. To make a long story short, we're seeing the buffoonery. And some of the people I've related to and talked to on this show, especially off the record and in person, we are seeing we're seeing them eat themselves out. Okay, I know you want that visual, but they're starting to devour each other. throwing each other under the bus. And we've seen the Prime Minister do that numerous times too. So I'm going to read an article here from one of the Liberal MPs, Mr. Wayne Long out of New Brunswick. Okay. And what he has been saying in the past couple of days in regards to Justin Trudeau not living up to his potential. Oh my God, we got to stay faith here. And that's what it is, ladies and gentlemen. It's got nothing to do with looking after the sovereignty of the country or the constituents. They're looking after themselves and their effing brand. You know, it's like when New Coke came out in 1985. You know, how many people were fired after that, right? But see, that's the corporate model too. Now, how many people should be fired after this fucking fiasco? I ask you, honestly, how many people should be fired? I think a whole whack of Liberal candidates or cabinet members should be gone, ousted big time, especially when we do find out the names of those 11 who have collaborated with foreign influence. Yeah. So this is an article from the National Post, ladies and gentlemen. First Liberal MP calls on Trudeau to resign for the good of our country. Yeah, we know you ass clowns don't give a shit about this country, but, you know, I'll read along anyway. Liberal MP Wayne Long has become the first member of Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's caucus to call for his resignation. Long, a New Brunswick MP, penned the email letter to his caucus colleagues on Friday afternoon saying that after this week's disastrous by-election loss in Toronto St. Paul's, it is time for Trudeau to step down. Another MP from Newfoundland appeared to support his message. After reflection on this week's defeat in Toronto St. Paul's and then seeing the response, I want you to clearly and directly where I stand, Long wrote in an email sent Friday afternoon obtained by the National Post. For the future of our party and for the good of our country, we need new leadership and a new direction. Well, Wayne, what clued you into that fact there, Buckeye? Huh? Some people's kids. Anyhow, the voters have spoken loud and clear. They want change. I agree, he wrote. Well, the voters have spoken loud and clearly for the past 10 years, and you haven't embraced change. But hey, nobody's perfect. Newfoundland MP Ken McDonald responded to the email message in a reply, all writing, well said. Well said, yes. Trudeau has repeatedly said he has no intention of stepping down, including after this week's humiliating loss. Right? The Liberals lost a by-election in the downtown Toronto riding on Monday. The riding was considered a safe Liberal seat, with the party having held on to it for more than 3 decades under former MP Carolyn Bennett. Now, she's a quack, ladies and gentlemen. I think she's a registered medical practitioner. However, she was the one that really, really encouraged safe supply. So you know where the Liberal was standing. Oh, my God. The party routinely won the seat with a 20-point leads, and even 2011 election, where the party was reduced to a third-party status, it won St. Paul's with an 8-point margin of victory. Nationally, the Liberals have been trailing the Conservative Party double digits for more than a year. Long was the first sitting MP to say Trudeau should resign, but several former cabinet ministers have said it's time for him to go. Long has a track of record-breaking ranks with his party. He spoke out against small business tax changes and earlier this month criticized the government's ban on open pen salmon farms. Okay, well, then if see, I just read to you, there's an MP that was against the small business tax changes. So why the hell did he back up the fucking budget in the regards to capital gains? Okay, why did he do that? Why did he do that? Why did any of them do that? Because they want to cover their asses. They want to save their pensions and their perks and their slaps and tickles for the pickles and how to call it a day. Like the article said, they care about the party. Do they care about the country? Do they care about the constituents? I've spent a lot of time in New Brunswick. It's a beautiful province, ladies and gentlemen. To my American listeners, I highly suggest you take advantage of the great weather we have here and go check out New Brunswick. Honestly, the history alone, part of the early days in Confederation, right? The history, there's tons of ghost stories there, and the military history itself. I suggest you go to New Brunswick. But, I'm digressing here. So if he's going to say that in the article in regards, well, it hurts small business, then why the hell did you back up the capital gains tax? Why did you back it up? As a backbencher, you do have a say. As far as I know, I could be wrong. I could be way off. But then again, you guys are throwing each other under the bus. It's like the rats leaving the ship. Oh, my God, what are we going to do? We got to save our jobs. Got to save our careers. Now, regardless of Mr. Long, if you want to run or not in the next election, I really don't give a shit. You're part of the fire department that put more gasoline on the fire when you should have been putting it out. The honorable thing. Now, Mr. Harjit Sajjan, his priorities were clear and simple. The Globe and Mail, believe it or not, has received a lot of money from the federal government over the past 10 years. And I would find it really, really odd they would publish a story like that. But I guess someone confessed. Someone had enough of the bullshit and said, hey, Globe, I got something to say. Here's a story for you. And hats off to those individuals who brought that story together and brought it to our attention. There's heroes, ladies and gentlemen. There's leadership right there. Someone taking a chance to stand up for what's right and to end the bullshit.
Stay updated and follow Crusty Canuck on Facebook, Twitter, Gab, Telegram, YouTube, and Podbean. Subscribe today and donate at crustycanuck.ca.
And you're back, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 297 of the Crusty Canuck podcast. Like I said, you're back, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 297.
Liberal Autophagy.
That's right, liberal autophagy. That's the magic word, autophagy. It sounds like candy, doesn't it? Anyhow, I'm your host, Crusty Canuck. Welcome back. If you like and hear what you see, please click like, subscribe. Do not shy away. Do not hesitate to comment. Please comment. Give me a thumbs up. All that good stuff too. If you see this podcast live, use your big words, Crusty. This podcast live, don't forget to comment and give me 100%, all that good stuff when you see the icons up there too. To my Rumblers out there, thank you very much. I've had some kind words from my friends at Rumble. Awesome job, everybody. Thank you. And once again, thank you to my new subscribers who are taking a chance to give a Crusty Canuck like myself a chance. Anyhow, carrying on. So we're all seeing, we're all hearing what's going on too. And the mainstream media is all over this like a fat kid and a smartie. You know, pigs in the trough, everything. We've seen the CBC blunders. We've seen the federal liberal blunders. We've even seen some conservatives kind of blunder too. Now, we've seen the Bloc. We've seen the NDP. Jagmeet Singh can't tell his elbow from his asshole because he doesn't know what to think, yet he still backs up the Liberals because he's holding on for that 6 years to get his golden pension. Chances are he'll probably go back to practicing law if he was to defeat an election today. Bitch and moan, talk about the unfairness and the systematic this, systematic that. The thing is, when you catch these liberals in the act of doing something really, really stupid, it's always someone else's fault. Now, we've seen that with politicians for a very, very long time, but they're amplifying what other people are doing too. Oh, it's not my fault. It's someone else's fault. Oh, I didn't do this. Someone else did this. Oh, no, I did this because of this. But hey, Harper did this. Oh, hey, Harper did that. Who cares? Your days are numbered, Federal Liberal Party. You're not presenting the liberal brand anymore. You're not being liberal whatsoever. You're getting caught with your pants down, right? So while you're sitting there getting caught with your pants down, you still got your hand in other people's pockets too. Holy shit. Some people's kids, eh? Something to think about, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. Anyway, I have been Crusty Canuck on this beautiful 29th of June, 2024. I wish nothing but good things for you. The weather's getting better. It's supposed to rain in my location tonight, so I'll cool things down a bit. Make our lawns lush and green. Hope your gardens are being are growing appropriately. That's the word, appropriately. And I hope everything is working out for you all out there too. Like I say, if you like and hear what you see, click like, subscribe, share this podcast. All of your social media platforms, ladies and gentlemen, do not be shy. Give me a comment, send me an email. My contact information is in the description. If you want to send me a letter or two or send me some swagger, feel free to. I don't mind. You know, let's say comment, just comment, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Help us Canucks get our algorithm out there so other people can watch and enjoy at their leisure, ladies and gentlemen, and other Canadians as well. And let's keep trying to fight for the light in this manufactured darkness. So I shall be around hopefully tomorrow night or Monday anyway, too. My schedule's been a little squirrely, but I'm trying to get 3 episodes up for you all there for a week. So 3 episodes a week, just try to keep it consistent and you can hear another point of view. Like I say, ladies and gentlemen, do what you can out during these trying times. Be good to your neighbors. Be good to yourself. Do your best to be kind to people. And like I always say, humanity and merit wins the day. I'll see you soon. Bye for now.
Hit it, sweetheart. Because I am hard, you will not like me. Oh, yes, sir. There is no racial bigotry here. Here you are all equally worthless.
This has been another episode of the Crusty Canuck podcast. Stay sane and thank you for listening. From Western Canada, this is the Crusty Canuck podcast.
Never in vain, brothers and sisters. Never in vain. Always faithful. Pro patria. To my brothers and sisters, hooah.